And that way you feel better that you can just maintain, which isn't a thing. And then you go, hey, can I half-ass this shit?
How is maingaining half-assing it? Maingaining is in fact harder, and you know why? Coach Greg, in today's video, Mike O'Hearn, he has to be trolling me. I don't know what's up with this guy. I mean, he's always making fun of me, calling me a midget, a hobbit. He's out here doing it again. This time about maingaining of all things. I mean, has it not gotten to the point where people realize that you can put on just as much muscle by maingaining as you can from bulking? It's 2026. You have to understand this. We even have Gress O'Gallagher defending Coach Greg. And so in this video, we're going to see what Mike O'Hearn says, as well as Greg O'Gallagher. We'll call him Gress because we're both have the same name.
Can you build the same amount of muscle on bulk as you can while maingaining?
What do you guys want to hear on these kind of questions?
Mostly the honest truth, the answer, mostly a yes. Yes, you can. Hey, when I was younger, I thought you had to bulk and cut, but now that the research has come out and people have proven that this to be false, you can maingain and build just as much while doing that.
I say yes to this. And that way you feel better that you can just maintain, which isn't a thing.
What do you mean it isn't a thing? It's clearly a thing. You're talking about it. Does anyone think that nobody maingains? That it's impossible? This guy right here, me, I've been maingaining for years. I haven't gone on a bulk in probably Mepsigram. Since before she'd even met me, I haven't put on any fat. And I weighed under 180 pounds not that long ago when I had the pneumonia and stuff. And now I'm over 190 pounds. I'm over 10 pounds bigger. Just as lean. Actually, I was leaner on a DEXA scan, which doesn't really prove anything, but I was leaner on the DEXA scan and I was much bigger. And so me at 50, I've maingained and put on muscle. I haven't seen Gress O'Gallagher ever go on a bulk. And so if I can do it at 50, and let me remind you, only on HRT, not adding in a bunch of steroids, tren and a whole thing. And while we're at it, does anyone actually think that Mike O'Hearn is natural? Why are we going to listen to him? And so clearly, I myself have proven it. Me, at the age of 50, have more muscle than when I was, 48, 47, whatever. And so if I can put on muscle without bulking, so can you.
All of you see people every single day go into the gym and train their asses off, and they're doing pretty good on the diet, and they still don't change much.
But on the other side of the spectrum, we see some people go into the gym, guys like Hussein Farhat, and in 2 to 4 years, they put on 40 pounds of muscle. And so we see both sides of the story. Some people, without bulking, they put on a ton of muscle. They just slowly do it year after year. Other people, they bulk up, they say, hey, I'm 20 pounds bigger, and then they diet it off, only to realize they haven't put any muscle at all. Now, when I was younger, I bulked and cut. I've also maingained. I've done both. And my experience is they're equal. The thing is, though, when you bulk, you think you put on more muscle because you're holding a lot of water weight and you're a bit fatter and you're stronger. And so you think, wow, look how much stronger I am. And then when you diet down for a bodybuilding competition, of which I've done 59 times, you realize all that extra weight I put on to put on 3 pounds of muscle. And so I would compete at 150, 154 pounds. I would bulk up into the 180s, and the next year I'd diet down back into 150s. And I'm thinking, oh, at least 10 pounds of this is muscle. I mean, out of 35 pounds that I've added, at least 10 has to be muscle, right? I mean, my bench press has gone up about 80 pounds. Has to be 10 pounds of muscle. You diet down and you end up weighing in 3 pounds bigger at the same percent body fat, and that's a year's work. Year after year after year after year after year, I did that. Perhaps gaining 3 pounds of muscle each and every year. But here's the thing. When you do that for 20 years, it's 60 pounds. 20 times 3 is 60 pounds of muscle. And so if you start training and you're 15, 18, whatever, and you keep doing it for 20 years and you peak early 30s, it's when I think that you're going to peak naturally. That's about the time when you're not going to put on any more muscle. And for me, that's the time that I started to use steroids. I was maintaining up until that point. Now, when you first start, like as a teenager, you have a lot of muscle memory, and so it's easier to put on muscle. So you might put on 10 pounds that first year. You might put on 15. Some people are lucky they're going to put on 20. And every year it gets a little bit harder. You put on 5, 4, 3, and by the last year, I believe I put on only 1 pound of muscle. Then I'm like, yeah, this is probably it. And now is the time to move on.
And then you go, hey, can I half-ass this shit?
How is maingaining half-assing it? Maingaining is in fact harder. And you know why? Because you need the mental fortitude, the discipline to not go on the bulk. Winter's coming.
You know what? Oh, I'm gonna go in a bulk. It's so fun. I'm gonna eat some cheesecake. I'm gonna throw in some extra burgers, some fries, or whatever, a lean bulk. I'm gonna throw in an extra 400 or 500 calories. I'm gonna bulk up. I'm gonna eat more.
That is so much more of a cop-out or an easy way than to stay on the exact diet that you're on. Whatever diet you are right now, and you're at, say, 12% body fat, you're athletic, you look good, and you maintain that and you slowly put on muscle. And Greg O'Gallagher, he maintains a single-digit body fat and does this. And so when you bulk, you're in a surplus, you gain some muscle, but you also gain some fat. All good things come to an end, and then you end your bulk, and you then have to go on to a cut. Now, if you're accustomed to logic or thinking reasonably clearly, you're gonna understand this. If it's easier to put on muscle while bulking, it's easier to lose muscle when cutting. Bulking is the opposite of cutting, and so if it's easier to put on muscle bulking, you're likely going to lose muscle cutting. And so even if you do put on more muscle when you're bulking, that extra muscle you're likely gonna lose on that cut. And here's one of the big problems. Once you bulked, sometimes you don't want to cut. You bulk went too far, and now you can't get back in shape.
Yep, so this is completely wrong. Food is not a stimulus for muscle growth. Once you're eating enough calories at maintenance adequate protein, you have removed the bottleneck of food.
Yeah, so what he's saying is, once you've hit enough macros, like once you've got enough, like 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, let's say it's 3,000 calories your baseline, once you hit that, adding more to that doesn't build more muscle. If I need 3,000 calories a day to build muscle and I eat 4,000 calories a day, I'm not building more muscle. But the problem is these stupid studies, they'll use something called a DEXA scam or an in-body scam, and then they'll weigh the people, and the people eating 4,000 calories, what do you think happens? They have extra water weight on their bodies, extra glycogen. And so when they do the test, because the DEXA scam doesn't know the difference between muscle and water, it says, wow, you put on more muscle than the person that was maingaining. Maingaining is 3,000 calories a day. The other person goes on a 4,000 calories. They gain 5 pounds, let's say it's in a month. Oh, see, they gain more muscle, but it's water. And then when the main gainers get tested months or years later, everything they gain is muscle. And so if you start at 150, now you're 155, you put on 5 pounds of muscle. The bulkers, they start at 150 and they go to 170, but then they go back down to 155. And then at that point, they realize all that was for naught.
Muscle growth is also rate limited by biology. If you're a natural, if you've been training for a few years, muscle growth is a slower process, and no amount of excess calories will speed up muscle growth.
Right, and so what happens is people are bored of maingaining. It's boring. I'm not denying this. I'm not saying maingaining is fun and you need to do it. I'm saying it's just as good in terms of building muscle. I'd prefer to maingain. I'd rather have 8-9% body fat year round than have 8% and then go up to 15 for the winter and then diet back down to 8 or 9. I'd rather just always be 9, let's say. And if I couldn't, I'd rather always be 12 than go from 9 and suffer and then go up to 15 in bulk and then go back down to 9 and suffer all the time, back and forth, back and forth. I'd always rather be 12 and always be happy with my body. Not a body dysmorphia. Bulking, cutting, and cause body dysmorphia, because trust me, you're gonna like the look when you're at 9%, but then when you go into your bulk, you're gonna like, I gotta cover myself up, my gut's a little bit, I have to have a different wardrobe, and I'm not really happy about that.
The only thing you can do to speed up muscle growth is literally jump on a bunch of anabolic steroids.
And so maingaining, you'll go 3 months straight and you put on 1 pound of muscle. You don't even notice that because it's such a slow process. Think of it, you're putting on like 0.1 pound in, let's say, a week or a month. You don't notice that. But when you bulk, the first month you're up 5-10 pounds. And you notice that you're stronger. Your bench went from 4 plates for 8 reps to 4 plates for 10 real quick because you're bulking. But it's not muscle, it's mostly water. But it's tricking you into thinking the scale's going up, I'm making progress. In comparison, maingaining, you don't feel the progress. It's a slow and arduous task. It's kind of like when I'm learning Spanish. I don't speak Spanish! Every week I don't notice that I'm better at it. It takes a month. And so that's kind of like maingaining. You don't notice how the words are coming in. But bulking, cutting would be like practicing Spanish for a week, 10 hours a day, but then you don't practice for a month, and then you start forgetting some of the words.
Going on a bulk is a dumb thing, and then guess what? You'll put on fat, then you have to spend more time cutting, which is not optimal for gaining muscle, and so you actually go slower with that approach.
So I agree and disagree with O'Gallagher, with Gress O'Gallagher. It's not stupid to bulk. It's not worse to bulk. It's equal. I'm not saying I'm better, my methods are better. I'm saying it's equal. I'm not here to brag or say I got the holy grail secret of dieting. I'm just saying if you're bulking up and you're gonna cut and the other person is just maintaining, at the end of the day, week, year, at the end of life, both of you will put on the same amount of muscle. And so we got comments saying, well, I was 152 pounds and I couldn't have gone to 170 unless I had bulked and cut. You could have gotten to 170. You're 152 pounds and every year you put on 3. 6 years, you're up 18 pounds. Your weight is slowly going up. When you're maintaining, it doesn't mean you're in a calorie deficit. You're eating enough to maintain your body fat percentage. So let's say you're 10%, you're always 10, but your muscle mass goes up. Your body fat can always be here while your muscle mass going up. And listen to this, you probably don't know this, but let's say you're 150 pounds and 10% body fat, that means you have 15 pounds of fat. If in 6 or 7 years, you go up to 170 and you maintain 10% body fat, you've kept equal fat. You're just as ripped. I would argue you're gonna look leaner at 170 pounds at 10% than 150 pounds at 10% because you have more muscle pushing through. It just looks leaner because you have more muscle. But think of this, 10% body fat of 170 pounds is 17 pounds of fat. And so despite the fact that you've gained, by definition, you're still 10%, you still look great, you've actually put on 2 pounds of fat during that process. And so you put on 18 pounds, remember the 6 times 3 is 18 pounds of muscle, plus the 2 pounds of fat. And so you went from 150 to 170 while maintaining, but you actually got fatter, but your body fat percentage is the same. And so you got fatter and more muscle, but leaner at the same time. All 3 somehow are physically possible because I just proved it right here. You're gonna look leaner despite the fact you gain 2 pounds more fat because the muscles are bigger, they're popping through, and everybody wins. Now, if you bulk, you could be 150 and you bulk for 5 years, and you go up to 200. And then you diet for the next year and you go from 200 back down to 170. The end of the 6 or 7 years, both of you are 170 and both of you have 10% body fat. One bulked up and was 20% body fat or 15, whatever you decide to do, and then cut down to 10. In the end, both people look the same. You're gonna argue, no, the best bodybuilders in the world, they all bulk and cut. I'm gonna say they technically are maintaining because of this. When Samson Dona, Chris Bumstead, the likes get into competition shape, sub 5% body fat, and they bulk up in the off season, they're actually bulking up to the maintaining weight. Let's call it 10%. Do you ever see Chris Bumstead over 10% body fat or Samson Dona over 10%? These guys in their off seasons when they're bulking, they're merely going back to a reasonable maintaining weight. My methods, if you don't bodybuild, would be always be 10. And so how is it better to go from 5 to 10 versus always being at 10? Do you really think that if you cut to 5% body fat and then go to 10, let's say once a year, you go from 5 to 10, 5 to 10 every year and you do that you'll have more muscle than the person who maintains at 10 all the time? You think something magically happens intrinsically within the body that causes more muscle growth to occur because you're actively in a deficit and surplus throughout the year versus you're always maintaining at maintenance. If that didn't convince you, nothing will, then I don't care. You can move on to the next video because I'm right and you're wrong, and that's okay. I couldn't go from 68 kilograms to my current 80 kilograms while maintaining. Lean bulking is the way. Gress O'Gallagher's response? Yes, you can. See, what people don't understand is the average IQ is like 100. My IQ is probably more than 100 by a little bit, at least. A lot of people's IQs are 79.
14.
Smart people don't understand that there are dumb people out there who watch our videos. And so if there's 100 people disagreeing with you, chances are those 100 people are very smart, so it's not really their fault. I couldn't even understand the proper way to get off the boat today. Guys, like, don't touch this. It's bad arm here. I touched that. I listened. He's like, weren't you paying attention? I was locked in. I was first. Couldn't remember it. And so it's kind of like learning how to dance. Somebody gives you instructions and you're copying it and they say, left arm up, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the whole thing 8 counts. And you watched it and they're like, go, and you just screw it all up. Some people have brains like that when it comes to gathering information about dieting. And so it's not really their fault. They're trying their best and They just kind of don't understand, and so you have to forgive them. But I couldn't gain any size without a slight surplus and training. I would weigh the same as I did back then. Gliss O'Gallagher says, maintenance calories already includes the energy required to support muscle gain when training provides the stimulus. And it's like 60 calories at most, which is true. This is what you don't understand. Maintenance calories already includes enough calories to build muscle. Every day, did you know that your body is destroying your muscles and building them up at the same time? There's a term known as catabolic, which means to break muscle tissue down, and anabolic, which means to build tissue back up. All of this happens all day long. Right now, my body might be breaking down muscle. I might be getting smaller. Or right now, I might be getting bigger. It happens at the same time. And so imagine it's like this. There's 20 construction workers at your house, 9 are tearing down the house, and 11 are building it back up. You want more people working on the body, building it up, than tearing it down. If you do get that, you're building muscle, and if you don't, you're losing it. And so if you don't go to the gym for a month, most of the workers out there, they're tearing it down, and so you're losing muscle. Within those maintenance calories, the body assumes, hey, every day we build things up and we take them down. It's just a thing that happens. And so maintenance calories includes calories that are needed to build the muscles to where they are. It's always happening. It's already happening right now, whether you work out or not. If you don't ever lift weights, your body's still building muscle. It's still tearing down muscle. You don't need to lift weights to do this. When you're a growing kid, 5 years old, 6, 7 years of age, 6, 7! Perhaps you need 1,800 calories a day. That's your maintenance. You're still getting bigger. You're getting taller. You're not eating in a surplus because surplus calories are used to make you fat. You eat too many calories in excess and it becomes known as adipose tissue, which is the fat on your body that many of us don't want to have. And so stop thinking that you need some form of a lean bulk, a bulk of some kind. Anytime you eat to the point where you're gaining fat, that you're getting fatter, that your body fat percentage went up, it's a bulk. Oh, it's a lean bulk. It's not actually a lean bulk if you're getting fatter. It's a slower bulk. It's a less grotesque bulk. If you're eating in excess calories and your body fat is going up, you went from 10% to 11 to 12, and you say, oh, it was a lean bulk because I didn't get all that fat. It's still a bulk. Maingaining doesn't involve gaining this excess fat. It involves staying at the same body fat percentage, whatever. That's enough. Ending it here. Don't forget to buy Turk Builder Max, Turk Platinum, GO2 Max, Preps, Delta Sleep. I'm looking around the room. Peri Light, the creatine, all the different supplements, the cookbook, and you can go to AlgoRx, get your blood work done. Because some of you are probably going to need enclomiphene, maybe you'll need HRT, and you want doctors to prescribe it to you legally. You don't want none of this bullshit from these SARMs websites. You want to know that an actual doctor gave you a prescription for it and that you need it. Whether it's a peptide to help you getting shredded, perhaps you're obese and you can't get your diet under control, these peptides can dramatically reduce the cravings. Coach Greg for discounts, and until next time, I am out.